everybody. that music just gets me in the mood.
Every single time.
Every single time. Thank you, Mickey G, for being here today. And Mr. Pratt, we'll get back to you in a minute, but thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come join us. Thank you, everybody out there watching us today. We appreciate your stopping by to see what we are gabbing about. We have a lot of fun on this TV show, and we talk about all kind of random things. So we appreciate you stopping by to see what we're gabbing about today. Before I get started, I would like to say the Gab with Goldnbronze is a sponsor of Golden Swan Cadre, which is a domestic 501c3 nonprofit organization that advocates against domestic violence towards women. But we don't stop there. We advocate for some good things too, like women's health, women's maternity health, mental health, self-care, and mindfulness. So we would offer you to go look at our website, www.goldenswancadre.com, and check us out there too to see what we're all about. If you find that our cause and our purpose is worthy, we would appreciate if you would donate some money to us to help us do what it is that we do. And one of those things, and that's just one of many things that we do, is that we adopt families as they are discharged or released from domestic violence centers. They usually leave with what they came with, and that's the clothes on their back. Clothes on their back. That's it. So what we do is we take those families in and we try to furnish one room. We call it adopt a room. We'll ask, what room would you like for us to adopt? And we'll furnish that room, and we will mentor them. We will pray with them. We will peer-to-peer with them for 12 consecutive months. So we have a roll-off. Every 4 months or so, we get a new family, but we still have 3 more. Now, let me tell you, our goal is 4 a year, but already this year we have done 6 families and have been asked to do 2 more. We are partially funded, and we need your help. We would like for you to dig in your pocket a little bit and donate something to us. $1 on up, we do not care, because $1 adds up to 100, and that adds up to 2 and continuously. So we appreciate anything that you find in your heart to give to us. We appreciate that very much. Now, our subject today, our topic is marriage and relationships. And we have with us a very distinguished relationship strategist. His name is Mr. Eddie Pratt, and he is a husband, father, and grandfather. He is also a licensed pastor, a relationship strategist, and a transformational public speaker. His personal mission is helping people live a next level life. He specializes in helping people establish healthy relationships with themselves and others, the prevention and or transition from unhealthy relationships, conflict resolution, divorce recovery, and premarital and marital counseling. Mr. Eddie is the chief advisor of and the proud father of 1 son and 6 daughters, as well as the grandfather of 2 grandsons. His master's degree studies in Christian leadership and theology from Dallas Theological Seminary. It's really something else, but I couldn't pronounce it. I will let him tell you. I'm just being real. Pastor Pratt's undergraduate studies are from Morehouse College. Wow, I didn't know that. And Strayer University, where he obtained a BS in Business Administration. And we welcome to our TV show today, Mr. Pastor Eddie Pratt.
Thank you so much.
So, Mr. Pratt, tell us a little bit about you other than what I already have said.
Well, probably the greatest thing that I can tell you is just my passion in that mission statement of helping people live a next level life. It is really about helping people find peace in 3 areas, and that's my passion. My passion is about trying to help people find peace with themselves, relationship peace, and professional peace, because I believe that when you have peace in those 3 areas, you have peace in totality. And so with that, I shouldn't say the word try.
Right.
I help people discover 4 things in counseling and in public speaking, is to understand 4 things: who you are not, what your foundational principles are, and what your purpose is in life. And I believe that when a person individually discovers those things, they begin to live in peace with themselves and in peace with other people. Because I believe that it's impossible to have a healthy relationship with others if if you're having a toxic relationship with yourself.
Right.
That who I am is just a person that likes to pull out the best in people and make decisions that set boundaries and do and just do things in life that bring them joy and bring them peace.
That's awful,
That's
which
the
brings them a better next level. Right. Yay.
yes.
So I'm going to start off with a question and we'll just kind of bounce it from there. So,
Sure.
what would you define as a healthy relationship?
Okay.
Let's start first with like single people, like
Okay.
with a partner, and then we'll get to what it would be like with the marriage, because maybe it's different and maybe it's not. That's why we're asking.
Okay. That's a great question because here's the thing. I believe that everybody deserves and should be in a healthy relationship, but everybody's not built for marriage and everybody doesn't want marriage, but everybody deserves a healthy relationship. So going back to what I just mentioned, finding peace within yourself first is the first step. Understanding, I actually created a personal assessment when I counsel singles as well as couples to identify the things that are important, how they define personal peace, how they define professional peace, how they define relationship peace. What are your love languages? What are the things that are necessary as far as relationship needs? And this can vary from person to person. But the biggest thing that is important in having a healthy relationship, I believe, is understanding and merging foundational principles that line up, that don't contradict each other.
Okay, Mr. Pratt, we will finish when we come right back.
All right.
As you were saying, Mr. Pratt?
So as I was saying, in that merging of foundational principles, are they contradicting each other? Because that leads to settling for a life less than the one that you deserve. Too many people get in relationships based on compatibility instead of sustainability.
Right.
And so you have to ask sustainable questions instead of compatibility questions. And so in that, those kinds of, and here's the other thing, in identifying your personal deal breakers. And so when you begin to accept living with someone or being in a relationship with someone that is a deal breaker or has a deal breaker, but you're convincing yourself to stay in that relationship, either because they look good or, they make money or they make you look good or whatever the emotional attachment may be. But if your foundational principles and your deal breakers are not in, if they're not merging together in such a way, then you begin living in who you are not.
Right.
When you are living in who you are not, now you're moving into a situation where I believe that you sign over your personal identity to that other person just to stay together. And that's not healthy.
Sure is the truth. I've done that before when I was young and dumb. When I didn't have anybody telling me what you just did.
Yeah, that information is loaded.
So it's very important. Yes.
Yes, it's her. We kind of rotate. Nikki, go ahead.
Okay.
You have a question, Nikki?
Yeah. I just wanted to make a point about when you said compatibility rather than sustainability. That's a nugget right there.
Yeah.
Because people think, well, we get along fine, but what about the long run? What do your principles align? Do your goals align?
Yes.
Rather than you're cute. We have fun together. That doesn't sustain for the long haul. And then you said something about who you are and who you aren't, helping you find that out. That weeds out a whole lot of confusion when you break it down that simply to those ideas.
Yes. It is necessary to understand. And let me tell you where you find that out: in conflict. That's where, let me give you an example. My wife and I, there's a couples assessment that I do with couples when they're dating or even when they're married. And it spits out graphs of where your strengths and your challenges are in my counseling process. Now, what I help couples do is in that area of challenge, because I don't like calling them weaknesses, I give them the tools how they can tweak their relationship only if they're willing to do the work where they can make their relationship go beyond compatibilities to sustainability. Conflict gives you the opportunity to find out what the foundation of your relationship really rests on. If conflict is something that you avoid, then you're missing what it was designed to do. Conflict should actually expose whether we're going in the same place, whether we have the same values. And here's the other thing that conflict does. It gives you four things. The first thing, it defines destination. Are we even going in the same place? Are we even seeking the same kind of relationship? The second thing it exposes, are we intentionally headed to the same place? We're not just talking about we're going in the same place. There's some action that shows that. Number three, it exposes how we respond to conflict, is because conflict should actually draw you closer together and you become a better team when you can get past conflict. Anybody can stick around when everything is fine. I mean, that's easy. Oh, we woke up with the same colors on. That doesn't mean anything. We like the same movies. We like the same vacation spots. Anybody can get along in that. It's when you disagree. How do you respond to disagreements? And can you work out those disagreements and move beyond that? Can you agree to disagree? Okay. And then the fourth thing, reciprocity. And this is very, very important. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this. Reciprocity is a recipe for creating the glue necessary for people to stay together. I give you the oxygen that makes you feel significant, safe, and not appreciated, but valued. And you give the same thing back. Reciprocity is a necessary ingredient. Those four things are really, really important. And that's where you find that the glue or the cement that can lock in two people that say, okay, we can have a healthy relationship.
Wow. Well, you know what? I'm one of those that avoid conflict. I feel like if we're always in conflict, we're not compatible.
Okay.
So I heard what you said, but why does conflict draw you closer when, if you're always in conflict, to me, that's a sign of incompatibility.
Okay. So you used a word that I didn't use. You said always in conflict. If you're always in conflict, yeah, that's probably not a healthy relationship.
Okay.
Because if your conflict, especially if the conflict is about principles, values, what your goals, vision, and remember, the great thing about conflict, it shouldn't be something that is violating those areas I just mentioned, your principles, your values, that type of thing, deal breakers. If one person wants, here's a great example. One person wants to, their destination is, I want to be with someone that wants to get married. And the other person is saying, well, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. I would advise someone to stop it right there.
I would too.
Because it leads to more conflict, because we're not even headed in the same direction. I always use an example in my upcoming book. I have a couple that they gave me permission in all 7 of the chapters. They gave me permission to share their stories. One guy, and I call the chapter California or New York, because one person was headed one place and another person was headed another place. And at that point, it was the hole within them or the wounds that they had struggled with. Sometimes people become wound mates instead of soul or spirit mates. And so.
All right, then we'll get back to that as soon as we come back. Okay. Okay, thank you, everyone. Mr. Pratt, continue with what you were saying, please.
Okay, so as I was saying, oftentimes, if there is more so people getting together and justifying being together based on some kind of area of vulnerability or something that they feel that they're missing, they will force the relationship to stay together instead of walking away from it. If you're always in conflict, that's a red flag. And here's the other thing. People should recognize that a red flag is a red flag. Don't make it a yellow flag and a green flag. It's a red flag, and accept that it's a red flag, because, you know, potential is like mist in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes people are more loyal to dysfunction than they are the reality of what they're actually experiencing.
Interesting.
Just to be in a relationship, they'll deal with the dysfunction instead of walking away from it and trusting that peace could be right around the corner if you would just walk away from the dysfunctional relationship.
I couldn't agree with you more. Sometimes peace is being alone until you find that right person, then being in a dysfunctional relationship.
Yes.
I agree. Mickey, do you have another question?
Yes, I was just making an observation when you were talking about conflict. Do you believe this way, that when you have conflict with your significant other and you overcome it, you work through it, that the trust and the bond becomes tighter? And that's the benefit of conflict in a relationship, because iron sharpens iron, and we get better together because we understand, we work through something, and we like, yay, we win as a team, we win. Is that the way you see conflict?
Yes. And let me, if it's okay for me to share it this way, this is what I believe about conflict. And this is the pastor in me speaking, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Conflict, evil uses conflict for division between you and God, division between you and yourself, and division between you and your partner. But I believe that God allows conflict. Do you hear the difference in the verbs?
Mm-hmm.
God allows conflict to bring unity between you and him, unity between you and yourself, and unity between you and your partner.
Interesting.
So it shouldn't be a conflicting situation all of the time, but this is healthy conflict. We disagree about this, and coming through that, hey, now I understand you better and you understand me better. And now we know how to move forward. If we ever run into this particular situation again, we already know each other, how we're going to respond to this. And I need to support you in this, and you need to support me. And this is how I need to be supported. Again, there lies that reciprocity, love languages. I understand what's important to you. I understand what your primary love languages are. I understand how you handle conflict. I understand how you respond to conflict. I understand what conflict was designed to do. Conflict can bring about, and understand when I say conflict, I'm just talking about not this evil fighting thing. I'm just talking about disagreement.
Disagreement, yes.
Disagreements.
Yes.
As long as the disagreement doesn't cause you to compromise your principles and your values, you can work through it.
Yes.
Unless you just don't want to.
Right. And there's times when you're like, I don't think that I can do this.
Yeah.
But
and when you realize that, you have to make a self-protective decision. You have to make a self-protective decision instead of justifying it because there may be something inside of you that is more concerned about being with someone instead of being healthy with yourself.
And Mr. Pratt, I want you, we have some people that we know that are hanging on to those types of dysfunctional relationships for whatever reason, we don't know. And maybe we'll have you come and speak at a seminar that we might plan in the future to address that, what we're talking about right now, conflicts. But I want to ask you, if you have a relationship, I'm good. It's coming. If you have if you're in a relationship, you feel like your relationship is healthy, of course, there's those disagreements that are referred to as healthy conflicts. What can you do? What strategies are there to keep that relationship a healthy relationship or
Okay.
marriage?
Great question.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I believe is most important when it comes to that, because that is going to happen. First of all, you've got to accept the fact that that is going to happen. That's the first thing. The second thing,
Okay.
when you begin to get tight in a relationship, there are a couple of things that you should ask your prospective partner or before you even get married. I call it, you should invest in the service warranty. In other words, you should have a marriage or a relationship mentor that the two of you can go to that is on the side of the relationship and not on the side of the individual. It should be somebody that can be neutral, because sometimes couples can't get through conflict together. And when you're locking heads like this, you need somebody neutral that is not taking the side of either one of you, but is always on the side and the healthiness of the relationship. And that person will not be biased in any other way but to say, hey, listen, I think you're wrong. Or I
Right.
think you should listen to what she's saying, or you should listen to what he's saying. This is why he feels this is way. This is why she feels this way. And then that person can help you carve out a new path
Mm-hmm.
of walking together based on your differences. I think that is vitally important. If you were getting ready to buy a business, you would go talk to a professional about how to do this. And too often, in many cultures, we look at it as a sign of weakness to go talk to someone that is skilled at building relationships.
Right.
The biggest investment is not a business. The biggest investment is not a house. The biggest investment is your mental health and your peace. Because if you buy all of those things and your relationship breaks up, then you got to sell it
Right.
and fight over it. But if you had a foundation of a strong relationship, you'll keep moving. And I believe that you need somebody in the middle that's an advisor, that is someone like me or does what I do, to be able to go to and talk through any kind of difference and even make plans for the future, just like you would go to a financial planner. Go to a person, a relationship strategist, or someone that is going to help you plan for the future of your relationship.
Right. Well, are there any day-to-day things that are do's and don'ts to just, oh man, they said pay the bills, so we'll be right back. All right, we are back. So, Mr. Pratt, as I was asking, like little tips to give people of behaviors, basically, to have on a day-to-day basis to keep that relationship healthy.
Okay. I touched on love languages earlier. I think that the 5 love languages quiz by Dr. Gary Chapman is a great way to understand each other. For example, if a person's love language is acts of service, that is, they feel loved when you do something that they don't have to do, or you do something, you take something off of their plate, as an example. And another person's is words of affirmation. Okay. It is necessary to understand those love languages. And I always suggest that understand or get to know what a person, the 2 primary love languages are. When you understand those love languages are not to be analyzed. They're supposed to be done. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Well, I don't understand why that's important to you to do this. If that's how that person is wired, then do what is required for them to feel loved, and you do the same. I go back to that thing about reciprocity, because like for instance, a lot of guys think that the way if I'm going to use my wife and I as an example.
Okay.
My wife's love language is acts of service. Her number 1 is acts of service. So I fix breakfast. I fix her breakfast in bed every Saturday and every Sunday. Every day I feed it to her in bed every Saturday and Sunday. I got to be real busy not to do that. That makes her feel loved. If I walked in with jewelry or flowers or something like that, it would be a nice gesture, but it doesn't make her feel loved like when I fix her breakfast. Because gifts, that's not her love language.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Mine is words of affirmation. When I fix breakfast for her, she tells me how good it is. I like the appreciation. Tell me that I did a good job. It makes me, it lifts me up. I think that one of the greatest do's is to speak or live out your partner's love language, because what you're doing, you're constantly serving each other. And you might even get into a little competition of trying to outserve each other. It makes it fun. Here's a don't that you should do. You should, well, here's another thing, another do. Be each other's safe place.
Mm-hmm.
You should be each other's safe place where I can say anything to you and it's not going to show back up in an argument and be used against me.
Right.
When you're in a safe place, you can say anything, you can respond, you're not going to be judged. It's not going to be later on put in a file and pulled back out to be used against you. Here's another thing. In that kind of safe place conversation, here's a don't. When you're each other's safe place, you're sharing your wounds with each other. Okay. I advise people, do not respect each other's wounds and keep your fingers off the trigger.
Wow.
Respect the wounds of each other and keep your fingers off of the triggers. I don't care how angry you get, you never put your finger on the trigger to reopen that wound when they trusted you with that information. Because what it does is it violates trust. And I can tell you this, in many places where I go speak, I ask people, what is the hardest job in the world? And they'll say, oh, be a doctor, a lawyer, or a parent, and all of that thing. Let me tell you, the hardest job in the world is rebuilding trust.
Right.
Because it is taxing physically and emotionally at the same time.
That is so true. Yeah. Well, let Mickey have another chance, and then I have another question if I have time.
That was just so much. I mean, I'm floored by that. And when you're talking about the love languages, it's kind of like if they tell you what they need, believe them, right?
That's right.
So instead of, like you said, trying to judge it, just do it.
Yes.
You know? And so is that kind of what you're saying, to kind of make it simple?
That is exactly what I'm saying. Relationships are not hard if you just listen and do it. Hear it and do it. Because the person is giving you the blueprint to their peace. And when someone, and here's where we get distracted. Well, I was told, and my father did this, or my mom did this, or listen, you are not married, or you are not dating your mother, or you're not dating your father. You need to listen to what that person is saying. This is what makes me happy. Right. Guys get together oftentimes, and ladies get together, and they have these conversations about what makes a woman happy or what makes a man happy. What is more important in a healthy relationship or a healthy marriage is understanding what makes your specific person happy. Listen to it and do it.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Mr. Pratt, can you have more than one love language? Because I think I do. Yes.
This is why I said, find out what the two primary ones. When you take that 5 love languages quiz, it pulls out the percentages, what number 1 is, what number 2 is, 3, 4, and 5. Now, if you got 4 or 5, and they all scoring around the same, then we got problems. Mm-hmm. There should be a primary one and a secondary one. And what I'm saying is that speak the person's primary 2. And then when you speak that person's, or not speak it, when you live out that person's primary 2, you're usually going to find yourself in a peaceful relationship.
Where can people go to take that little quiz?
You can actually take it online, and it's free. It's an online thing. You just pull up, I think it's www.5lovelanguages quiz, and it's free. Okay. And I always have couples do that because I create a summary. After I have done this personal assessment with both people, I create summaries for them. And then I sit down with them and share the summaries with them so they can understand on paper, so that just in case they forget,
Right.
go
Yes.
back, look at the summary. It got something in writing that says, this is who this person is. This is who they are not. This is what their principles are. This is what their purpose is in life. And when you see that and you're reading that on a one-page summary, I even put it in an illustrative summary boxes and color them in color-coded boxes, so that you understand that this is the reaction you're going to get when you don't do this or when you do this. And that helps when people apply it. It has been very, very effective.
Yes. Well, remember I said I had a two-part question.
Yes.
So the other one is for the guys out there. When you guys 50 and over tend to think I'm the man, and if I am this way, I might appear too submissive or weak or henpecked. What would you say to those guys when we come right back? A minute to think about it. We'll be right back. We are back, and yes, we are having a great time with Mr. Pratt. Yeah. So, did you get the question that I was asking? And can you?
I did.
Okay, good.
I did. So there is an area that I cover with couples called what I call relationship identity. This is very important with understanding. I go back to this whole thing again about recognizing who you are, who you're not, what your principles are, what your purpose is. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's really, really important. A man that feels at 50 or older, that feels like he has to be a certain way to exude manhood or whatever, is not understanding relationship identity. Relationship identity is understanding my strengths and your challenges, and your strengths and my challenges. Mm-hmm. And when the two, and a lot of those things, again, that are created, well, I have to be this way because I'm the man, or I have to be this way because I'm the woman. Maybe some cultural differences or some bad teaching from generations before. Mm-hmm. Okay. The relationship should be identified based on the strengths and the challenges of the couple, and not based on what society says it should be. Therefore, basing something on whether you are independent, there is something called interdependency. Mm-hmm. that is not talked about a lot in relationship or even couples counseling. Interdependency means we are coexisting in the relationship together, but I'm not stripping you of your independence and your identity. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
So therefore, I'm allowing, or I'm not having, I don't even want to use that word, allowing. I'm not doing anything to dismantle who you are in us being together.
I like that.
There is something very important, and this is something that, and I have to say this. When couples come together, they usually get married with a pastor that does something. And I hear a lot of pastors marry people wrong because they don't start from a scripture that I think breaks this down very well. It says, submit to one another.
Right.
Submit to one another in reverence for Christ. Now, that's just the pastor in me, okay? And I'm not trying to push my religious beliefs on anybody. I'm just saying what.
It's all right. Tell us where that is. Can you give us where that scripture is?
In Ephesians chapter 5.
Okay.
Verse 21. It says, submit to one another in reverence for Christ. In other words, it starts out with partnership language. Okay? Here's another thing. And then what it does, then it goes down and gives instructions to the wife, and it talks about how wives submit to your husbands. See, sometimes men grab that and say, well, you're supposed to submit to me. I'm the man. That's not what that's saying. Mm-hmm. Because it started out with partnership language. Submit to one another in reverence for Christ. Now, then it goes and it says how wives should submit. And then it comes down and tells men, love your wives the way Christ loved the church. Mm-hmm. Do you see that? So, but it's more about wives, respect your husbands. And so it breaks down the instructions how to be partners. Here's the other thing that I've had to help a lot of men with. I got into a really big thing with these men 2 weeks ago about this. In Genesis chapter 2, it says, God gave Adam a helper suitable for him. The word suitable in Hebrew means the perfect opposite.
Mm-hmm.
That means they're equal, but she's the perfect opposite, which means both of you bring something to the table, but you bring different strengths to the table. That's partnership language. So if you identify your own relationship identity, you base that on submitting to one another and recognizing the strengths and the challenges of each other. You don't judge each other by whatever strength and challenges you had. Your dad may have been the type that can climb trees and shoot guns and all of that kind of stuff, but there are a lot of men that grew up without fathers. So
Right.
they don't have the same upbringing.
They don't
They
have that foundation, do they?
don't have that kind of foundation. So if
Mm-hmm.
they grew up with a single mom or they had mentors, I think it's really about understanding who the person that you are in the relationship with. What is going to make that person feel safe, significant, and valued? And you find that in identifying who we are as a couple with relationship identity.
That is a great answer, Mr. Pratt. I'm going to take the next couple of minutes to thank you for coming on Gab with Goldnbronze. This is the second time we've had you in our presence. We appreciate it very much. I feel like and I want you back again. You're always welcome to come back again if you have time. But I feel like our platform is advocacy against domestic violence, and it starts with the relationship in the very beginning. That's why I keep having you on my platform, because you share great information, and a lot of the information that you are sharing with us might deter some of the domestic violence out there. We know we can't eradicate it. We can't get rid of it altogether, but we feel like if we could put in front of people information that will help them learn and grow and understand what it takes to have a healthy relationship, then maybe we can eradicate domestic violence. Wouldn't that be awesome? If just by information sharing, people are like, I didn't know I did that. I didn't know I was like this. I need to do this. And try to better themselves. That's part of our initiative, to help people become the better person that they could be in life. And by doing that is offering the information, receiving it when you get it, and then implementing it after you hear it. And
Absolutely.
so that's why we keep having you here. And we want you to come back again if you can find time to do so. We appreciate it. And I want to
make the time to do it.
Okay, good. And everybody out there, I'm going to have something to have Mr. Pratt come and talk. So maybe you can come and experience how Golden Swan Cadre gives back to the community by presenting people like this fabulous man to share information that will help everyone. And we appreciate everybody, I do, coming by to listen to what we have to talk about. Our co-host is going to carry us out of here. But right now, I just want to say thank you, Mr. Pratt. Thank you, audience, for watching us today. And we're going to have something very interesting for you on tomorrow. So come right back here tomorrow. We'll be here. Go ahead, co-host.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I have learned and been inspired so much. And so we thank you, like our host said, we thank you for coming and sharing and imparting with us. That was just amazing information. And I look forward to talking to you again. I can listen to you all day. But
we didn't have enough time. Yes.
But since we can't today, I'll just tell our audience that you may always see the Gab with Goldnbronze talk show on the DuPont TV network, brought to you by Village Global Network TV, Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 noon Central Standard Time, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Be sure to tune in and we'll see you there. Come see what we're talking about. So, at the top of the show, Goldnbronze told you that Gab with Goldnbronze sponsors Golden Swan Cadre. So I'm going to give you instructions as to how you may donate to Golden Swan Cadre. So if you have Chime, you would enter $ Golden Swan Cadre. So the G, the S, and the C are uppercase or capital letters. If you have PayPal, enter the Golden Swan Cadre at gmail.com. You may also go to our website, www.goldenswancadre.com. Look around on the website to see what we're doing and the things that we might need.
Mhm.
You'll find a way to donate there. In social media, you may go to Instagram and go to the charity section to find the official _ Golden Swan Cadre. If you're on Facebook, also go to the charity section and look up Golden Swan Cadre. Thank you for joining us and making a positive impact today. We appreciate every dollar and every gesture. Thank you in advance.
And remember, come back tomorrow. Peace.